Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Hello and welcome. Take it from the Iron Woman. Today, Wednesday, we have Jason D'Amelio with us. He is a personal trainer, but he obviously can introduce himself. He will tell us about working out when you are working from home. I think this is an important segment that we need to learn. When we work in a small apartment, it's still important to work out. I know Jason will tell you. So hello, Jason. We want to hear who is Jason?
Hey, Suzanne.
Who is Jason on our show today?
Just a regular guy who likes working out. Well, my background is in sports medicine. So I started as an athletic trainer coming out of college, working in the NFL, some football teams. And from there, it kind of springboarded me to a lot of other opportunities in life, all through sports and all through sports medicine. Exactly. So now I'm currently working at a hospital in New York, specializes in orthopedics, still doing athletic training, but more orthopedic exams and sports rehab programming for patients following surgeries or patients that may be needing surgery but will want to delay it a little bit and try to strengthen and correct the issue as much as they can to potentially avoid surgery. And then I still do some private training on the side with some clients in the evening and on the weekends. And then also I work with a really large fencing academy that's trying to develop fencing athletes for potential Olympics and college fencing careers.
Wow. I always thought fencing was such an elegant sport. I tried it once. It's not so easy how to coordinate.
Not easy at all. Yeah.
And talking about coordination, tell us how we met. When I know Jason invited me to a capoeira class. So maybe tell us a little bit what that is and how did I do that?
Yeah, that was great. Well, it was funny because we started talking in the gym and we found this connection, and the connection between us was Brazil. You've been to Brazil. I had gone to Brazil several times. Most recently, I had just come back from traveling down there to participate in a capoeira training seminar. So I invited you and another client of ours, mine, and who became a friend of yours. And Kate and you came and took me up on my invite to join me at my capoeira class. You guys did pretty well. It's not an easy thing to just jump into in one class and expect to be proficient at it. But what was really funny is all the running that you guys do. The one thing that you told me that after the class was over, you said, my feet are killing me. and I said, I understand what you mean, because my first couple months of training capoeira myself, when I started 18 years ago, was my feet felt like I was walking on hot coals every night. Every time I'd come home, my feet were just the sorest part of my body. But over time, the calluses develop just like anything in life, and you forget about that aspect.
Oh, that was fun. And I would recommend everybody should take a capoeira class. I'm sure we can see videos, YouTubes. It's a fun way to do something different. And again, I would say it's not easy. It looks fantastic. It looks easy, but it's not easy to do.
It's tough. There's a huge martial arts component to it that people don't realize. The way that you describe capoeira perfectly is it's a fight like a dance and a dance like a fight.
Something very special. I mean, I would love to do it again. Maybe one day. We'll see. Now, we want to hear a little bit for the audience. Jason, what do you think people working from home, and when we think working from home, it means like sitting the whole day. And I'm saying like set up like a standing desk, set the alarm every 2 hours, walk around, go to the kitchen, but don't go to the fridge, right? So I always say the fridge is your enemy. So then what can you tell the people sitting the whole day? And me, my piriformis is hurting. So give us some good exercise that we can do.
For me, obviously, being a very active person, my job is very active 24/7. That this is a big change for me as well, having to work from home. And a lot of my work has now been through video conferences and movement analysis on video apps and things like that. For my patients and athletes, it's not easy. It's a big adjustment. But what I found to be the most helpful is to still stay in a routine. Try to structure your day just like you would if you were going to the office. So for me, that means I still wake up at 6 a.m. Actually, that's late for me. Usually I'm waking up at 5, but now that I don't have to go anywhere physically, I can wake up a little bit later. But I still wake up around the latest 6 a.m. and I go through my movement routine. And that's putting down my yoga mat, having my foam roller, having some other objects like my lacrosse ball. I'll spend about 20-25 minutes in the morning just going through a nice movement flow. That's to loosen up my body, to wake my body up, to work out any kinks that I got the day before from working out, but also just to restart my body for that day. The movement stuff really makes a difference for me. And especially now that I'm spending more time doing it in my apartment versus doing it in the gym, it becomes an integral part of my day. And I really can't start my day without that movement work. So I'll go through a nice flow series of active dynamic stretches, some breathing techniques that I've been working on. We as athletes forget about how important proper breathing is, not just inhaling and exhaling, but really using diaphragmatic muscles to breathe. So that has been a real big focus in my mornings as well. And then once my movement routine is finished, I usually go and have my apple cider vinegar tonic, which is lemon, water, apple cider vinegar, some honey, and a little bit of cinnamon. And that's my morning detox. It kind of starts my system internally now. And then from there, I get into my actual work duties and responsibilities. And since, we're all making up our own schedules as we go, usually in the afternoon is when I get involved in a little bit more of a strength and cardiovascular type of program. And it doesn't have to be more than an hour. I mean, most people can get a real effective workout done in 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. It's really important because that really gives me a boost for the second half of the day with my energy levels. Second half, I feel recharged again, finish off the second half really strong. During my working hours, I don't have a desk in my house. My wife does for her work, but I've used my dresser, which is about chest height. It's a 6-drawer dresser. And what I've done is created a stand-up desk. Pull out the second drawer and I put a piece of wood inside of it. And that's my desk where I put my Bluetooth keyboard and my monitor. My laptop is on the top of the dresser. I've created a workstation here that I'm able to stand up. It's by a window so I could have good sunlight. And I have some nice comfortable Havaiana sandals on. So I got some good energy going through my feet.
Too. Yeah.
And I got that trick from a chef that I used to train who told me why chefs all wear Croc sandals. Yeah. And it's because the amount of time that they're on their feet, the Crocs, they really reduce the amount of fatigue in their legs and their body.
Okay, good.
Because there's this nice cushion and energy transfer. So I think that's important, whether you have good, comfortable foam type of sandals on or if you're going to wear sneakers, great. But also to get one of those anti-fatigue floor mats. They're kind of memory foam. And that's a great thing to stand on throughout the day. And I typically will shift my weight from one leg to the other. I don't stand still. And that really helps. Shifting the weight from side to side really helps engage your glutes. And if you do it standing up right now, and if you're standing tall and you feel your weight shift from the right leg to the left leg, you could actually feel each glute contract when you do that. So you're getting some nice glute activation, which will help reduce the amount of stress on the lower back.
So those people are sitting, and so now we say okay, it's 2 hours. What should they do? I know everybody works on the computer, right? Obviously the shoulders and the hands, that's another thing. And we get so tight. Right. So I know everybody wants easy fix. I heard from you, it's about the routine. It's about starting the day right. And also eating, drinking, hydrating, and then having the right equipment. So the height of the computer with the keyboard, so the hands are comfortable. but then getting up, maybe half an hour break or 5-minute break.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even if it's 10-minute break, if you have to sit down at your desk like my wife does, she usually gets up like every 20, 30 minutes. Or if she can't get up, she goes through this routine that I gave her, which is working on her cervical neck patterns, thinking about bringing your chin to your chest and then drawing a line with your chin on your clavicle, which is your collarbone, turning your head so your chin almost gets all the way to your shoulder, tilting your ear to that same side shoulder, then bringing the head back around the back side. You're going to go to the other side of the shoulder, other shoulder with the other ear, then turn the head so the chin hits that opposite side shoulder, and then draw the line back down on the opposite side collarbone. So those are really nice cervical neck movement patterns that can help reduce some of that tension you're going to hold in the neck, because the head, each inch the head moves forward, it's an extra 10 pounds of final load. So every inch that your head starts to creep forward, that's an additional 10 pounds of force on your spine. The more that your head creeps forward, the more that those muscles in the back will start to tighten up and to start to really spasm. And that's where we all hold that tension, which leads to those aches and pains in the upper shoulders and neck. The more that we can keep our chin back and our ears as in line with our shoulders, the better off we're going to be. And some things that you can do with that is set an alarm on your phone or your computer. When that alarm goes off, think about doing those cervical neck range of motion exercises. And you typically do 5 in one direction, 5 in the other direction. Then you could just do yes and no, side to side, just working the neck. And then from there, where you're rolling the scapulas, the shoulder blades back, and really trying to draw a complete circle around a clock. If you imagine a clock and you're trying to hit every hour point on that clock with your shoulder blade, those are great things for those upper shoulder muscles to start loosening up. Because if we hold tension there, that's where a lot of our vascular system comes up, right into our head. We have our arteries and veins all through the neck and the trapezius area. The more tension you hold there, the more those blood vessels get constricted. And that's where we kind of get fatigue in our brain, because of oxygen deprivation and constriction. The more you can move those upper postural muscles, the upper back, the shoulder, the neck, the middle back, the more blood flow and oxygen you'll get throughout the day if you do have to sit for long periods of time. I think that's really an important point that you make, is making those adjustments throughout the day where you do get up and move and do some kind of movement off of the desk and out of the chair. And
I think it also creates happy moments, right? So we're sitting, we're frustrated, like something doesn't work and we're alone. So it's that maybe happy, unhappy space that we're in. Then you can, after 2 hours, you can get up, you can do those yes, no, shoulder movements, and then you feel much better. Hydrate, I would say. And then it's easier to get through the days. So Jason, thank you so much. This was helpful. Any other tips that comes to your mind, or we just need to know where we can find you?
Well, what I always say is don't make excuses, but just make time to move throughout the day. Just find time to move throughout the day. That's going to be the biggest thing you could stick to in your routine is find time to move. Get out of your chair, get some blood flow. And like you said, you get more oxygen, blood flow to the brain. You start having clearer thoughts and you become more productive and have longer sustained energy throughout the day. My thing is when I feel like I'm getting a little too static or stationary, that's time to move. I'll do some movement stuff and then come back and, all of a sudden a new idea hits me, or, I just have this real great sense of happiness when I'm talking to patients.
One thing that I think you posted it, if you have 30 minutes in the day to check on social media, use that 30 minutes to work out. So I think that was a really cool reminder. How many hours of the day are we now spending on social media rather than working on ourselves? So I think it's time to invest in yourself rather than investing and wasting time on social media.
You could check your productivity.
The screen time. Okay.
Yes.
That should go down.
So,
okay. Thank you so much, Jason. We'll find all the information in the show notes, and whoever wants to reach out to him, I've worked out with him. He's kind of like a tough guy, I have to say, but you sweat and you see results soon. So thank you so much, Jason.
My pleasure. Great talking to you, Suzanne.
How cool was that episode with Jason? We'll hear more from people who have cool jobs, who make it happen even in difficult times. Chime in every Monday and every Wednesday. Take it from the Iron Woman.